Welcome back to True Colors. So now that we finally finished the main story, now we can play Steph's story. Have I played Life is Strange Season 1? Yes, I have. And did I choose to save Arcadia Bay?
Yes.
Yes, on our proper first, and yeah, with the Chloe,
Yes.
I forgot which one was the first ending that I chose in our playthrough. Actually, now that I think about it.
Life is Strange Wavelenghts TM.
Okay. The one you ended on was saving Arcadia Bay, which I believe was also factored in.
Yeah. The one I ended was the one I ended on was saving Arcadia Bay. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Which again, I think is the better ending, and apparently even the creators thought that was the better ending too. Which again shocks me, given how much of a creator's pet Chloe is.
So Wavelengths is actually a prequel story of how Steph got into Haven, and here she is as the radio DJ of Haven Springs.
Wait. Oh wow, she must have really remodeled the place. It looks different.
So I have one piece of criticism, by the way. Okay. Jove and Shiroi, because you play that game like me. I don't think Dwebs has, but I know you two have. You know how you can play. You know how episode Shadow of Sonic Forces, if you try to boot it up, it says it's recommended that you play at least some of the main story before you do episode Shadow and shit like that,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, you can still choose to play episode Shadow first if you want to, right?
Of course.
Okay. Not in this game. Even if I pay extra, and remember, episode Shadow was free even, whereas this episode is paid DLC. However, the game will not allow me to play Wavelengths until I finish the main story.
Wait.
Not
Why
a fan
the
of
whole?
that.
Me neither.
Okay, I also have a question. Why the whole main story? Like, this is a prequel. Like, unless
Yeah.
you're gonna go into.
And before you ask, no, there's nothing really here that's gonna spoil anything for the main plot. Not really, no.
Like, look, I'm a guy.
Maybe
who
at least
sometimes-
play episode 1 and then you get to play it.
But
like,
Also, I'm guessing the whole. Have you played Life is Strange 1? Wait, hold on. The
Oh,
question.
that's simple. It's for the same reason as in Life is Strange 2, Joe, but there's going to be tie-ins to Life is Strange 1, so they ask you what did you choose, so they know what to do accordingly.
maybe that's.
So I'm guessing if you choose that you haven't played it, it just automatically chooses.
Yeah, it chooses randomly, I think. I picked our ending so we can be consistent with our Life is Strange 1 run.
I'll admit, like I said, it's not that I dislike prequels, but prequels always do have that issue where when they come after something, you always feel a sense of, I feel like this should come before, or, well, some other issues that prequels have.
Yeah.
And usually, if anything, if something's a prequel, I prefer to actually play that first before the stuff.
For the record,
Unless it's a prequel that truly works best when you play after. Something like, say, Red Dead Redemption 2.
For the record, I enjoy this DLC, by the way. I have no problems with it. Not really. It's a perfectly nice slice of life episode with Steph. That's fine. Thing is, I just don't like the fact that I can't even. Okay, at best, you can have a spoiler-free warning saying, "Look, we recommend you play the entire main story before you play this." That's fine. But no, trust me. If you try to start it, the game will just say you cannot. You have to finish the main story before you can play Wavelengths. I just paid for this thing.
People pay for it.
I paid for this thing.
I'm sorry. Blocking off pay. Okay, maybe if it was just complete episode 1, and even still, I feel like that's iffy. But no, making it that if you buy a section of DLC, you're still walled off from it until completing the whole game. Like, if I recall correctly, as much as I hate the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind is needed to make the game feel complete, I don't think that Remind is necessarily blocked off if
no, it's
you
not.
haven't gotten to that point in the game.
No. Remind adds to the game. Like it has nothing to do with this is a separate episode that you trigger from the main menu. That's separate from the main campaign itself, right?
And it also gives us the best voice for Xehanort, Christopher Lloyd. No, I am not sorry.
I don't think anybody is, Joe. But I'm pretty sure everybody loves Christopher Lloyd as Xehanort, don't they? I mean,
yes, they do. It's just like, well, Honestly, I kind of wish Christopher Lloyd had been Xehanort all along.
Oh,
But
sure.
You know,
I mean, look
some
at
people-
well, okay. To be fair, I'm sure they were kind of at a loss on how to follow up from Leonard Nimoy. I mean, how do you follow up from that? You know, like, so I can understand that they were a bit of at a loss for who to get at first.
I wish Chris. You know, I gotta say the role of Xehanort's kind of cursed. Since not only did Leonard Nimoy die, but
Yeah, the
guy
Japanese
who
VA
originally-
too. Yeah.
Not just that, but the guy who originally plays Xehanort English-wise in Kingdom Hearts 3, like Christopher Lloyd, only shows up for the Remind DLC actually, because the guy who was playing Xehanort for Kingdom Hearts 3 also died. Like, God damn.
Yeah, it's kind of an issue. Like, I guess
I
Xehanort's
mean,
role
wouldn't
is.
a lot of the people in that role be on the older side of
Yeah, unfortunately, because
aging? I know, like, it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's more that.
sure.
Like, Leonard
That being
Nimoy
said-
was old. He wasn't like die of old age, but I digress.
Yeah,
Like, I
because
guess we should keep-
Leonard Nimoy was so fantastic as like he commanded so much presence as Master Xehanort. Like, so following up from that, it was just nigh impossible. I mean, he's Leonard fucking Nimoy, for fuck's sake.
Also, we have Leonard Nimoy opposite Mark Hamill. You
Yeah.
just know they were doing that for the obvious Star Trek and Star
Yeah.
Wars thing, and they were both so flipping awesome.
But going back to this, like I said,
yeah.
okay. What is something like for example, there's also the DLC expansions of Ni no Kuni 2, for example, where they add yes, it's not, you can't start a new game in Ni no Kuni 2 and immediately access the DLC, but I'm pretty sure that would be obvious because obviously we're not even at the world map yet from the beginning of the game, so obviously you can't access the Lair of the Lost Lord or the conductor's headspace from the get-go because, well, that there's a story reason for that, at least, you know.
I'll say this. I can't judge the DLC as a whole yet, but it's already ticked off the two boxes that are no-nos for me. One, paid DLC for, well, okay. Not so much two boxes that are an automatic thing, but two boxes put together that are an automatic yikes for me. Paid DLC that is blocked off by arbitrary story or game locking. Like, okay, at the very least, does, like, you know, the page where you can buy the DLC warn you about the block off?
I don't think so, but I'll double check.
Like, don't get me wrong, even if it does, this is still a no-no, but it's even worse if they don't warn people, because, okay,
Please
granted,
don't
I,
call us that.
A message from one of KRCT's
like, don't get me
The
wrong,
Black Lantern.
I get it. Ideally, the
Mirror
people
Haven,
who
the Black
buy the
Lantern is
DLC
known
are
for-
people who are gonna play the whole game, but what if, let's say for the
historical
sake of
decor.
argument,
Where else can you
the
feast
main
on
story ain't
refused
doing it for
Kit
you,
Kats
so you
and
want to
a
give this
literal
DLC a
bullet
try? Oh, sorry, blocked off.
You know, I can
then
imagine
there's
the listeners being
Try
really
the lantern.
confused. Like, why does he keep pausing randomly in the
Top-notch
middle?
burger game. Best burgers for 20.
No, Joe, but the only thing it says here on the description on the PlayStation Store is you require the base game to play this. That's all it says.
Oh, like, look, okay, for as much as I don't like that you need DLC to complete Final Fantasy XV's experience or that you have to pay for KH3 Remind, again, at least with those, as far as I know, they're not arbitrarily blocked up.
No.
Like, 15
When you boot up 15, you can start episode GLaDOS, episode Prompto, episode. You can start them that's because they're separate from the main campaign. They're not in so you can just go to the main menu and just immediately start with those episodes if you want.
And again, similar thing with KH3 Remind. Like, even though that is technically filling in the blanks that we should have had, if I recall correctly, that's also sort of treated as its own
No,
separate
Remind.
campaign.
No, what Remind does is it patches up the main campaign to put in the additions, while at the same time allows you to switch to the Remind content because they still want the players to have the option to play the original form of the ending if they want to. You know, right?
Of course, but-
So basically, you can choose how you want to go about it. Basically.
Massive dork seeks next
And
X.
top it off.
Anyway, to get
Yeah.
back to this, the basic gist of it is this: we have to look at our to-do list, we have to introduce ourselves on the mic, and we use computers auto DJ, and we have to read all the ads and then take a break. So basically, Wavelenghts covers Steph living her life as Avon's radio DJ. She's also trying to make herself like on a dating app which is, I mean, I get that it's meant to be kind of a quirky little thing, but hey, you made me complete the full game. I already know that Steph ends up with Alex, so I'm not entirely invested in pursuing this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to DJ Simulator.
See, this is another thing that would have made it interesting. See, if they had allowed us to play this before the main campaign, now this would have been a cool thing for us to do, because at this point in time, I still possibly would not have known how Steph's story ends. But now that we've completed the entire main campaign, we already know Steph ends with Alex, so this entire thing is pointless.
Another thing that fills me with doubt is I'm kind of doubtful that for a DLC they would actually, have the resources to develop all the different models for these other potential you can date.
No, that's the thing. It doesn't really go anywhere. You just pick one and that's it. You get messages from them, but that's it. You just get messages from them. Texts.
Like, hey, Square, weren't you touting a big enough budget that you were charging $60 for this game? Surely add in a dating mini game.
Hell, this DLC is $12.
Oh, I mean, okay.
Okay, like how much content is there?
You spend the entire DLC in this place, Shiroi, just doing things.
But I mean, like, is it worth $12?
Well, okay. I should, for the sake of fairness, I should mention that by $12 I mean the entire deluxe pack, which includes both the episode as well as a few DLC outfits. You cannot buy the episode on its own. So you can't just buy the episode itself. You have to buy the episode plus the DLC outfits, which is why it adds up to $12. Thing is, I still think we should have an option to buy just the episode, and like, how about this? Get $7 for just the episode. So what if I don't care about the DLC outfits? You know what I mean, right?
Like, let's keep in mind, $12 is a fifth of $60. So essentially, you're adding on 20% of the game's original asking price for this DLC.
The wrong tree, I'm afraid.
And okay, so it's this DLC episode and a few DLC outfits. Are those outfits like? In fact, I don't think those outfits. Well, okay, can those outfits show up in the main story if you choose or whatnot?
Yes. But well, remember, the entire game is rendered in-game, Java, so obviously any custom changes you make will always reflect in everything. So
I'm guessing these are all Steph's outfits, or are there new outfits for
no. Outfits for Alex. With Steph, you can change outfits.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought that the outfits might be for Steph since they came.
Like, it's kind of similar to how they handled the deluxe content of Before the Storm, because in order for you, in fact, here's the interesting thing about Before the Storm, by the way, just to recap, that bit, as you can see, is broken, so she's supposed to fix that at some point. No, first call. Alright, let's see the call first, and I'll talk about the rest after. We have plenty of time.
Alright.
Hello? You're on KRCT radio, and you're talking to Steph.
Yo.
She was very new to it at this point, I see.
Well, remember, she's a musician, not necessarily a radio DJ.
This.
What?
See, this is a radio booth within a record store. And this voice you're speaking to, me, is a DJ who also works at the record store. But this phone call, as I mentioned, is decidedly for the radio. Follow?
No. Could I just give you my order, and you can just, like, give it to whoever?
Yeah, why not?
It's not like anyone else is listening.
Goodbye Means Forever by Kim Snyder.
Plot twist, this turns out to be the most listened to radio station in the world, and this is going on.
Hit You by Robbie Rooster.
I get the feeling that this guy is going through a breakup.
What?
Yeah.
Actually, Shiroi, listen.
Just, who are these for?
My girlfriend. I saw them in her wish list online and decided to surprise her. Buy a vehicle, you know?
It's the opposite.
Yeah, cool. Yeesh. I don't think this kid realizes that his girlfriend is loading up on music.
So, okay, so you were right, but with extra steps.
There you go.
Wow, poor guy.
Might be sending out
His girlfriend
some
is having
signals you're
him
not
buy
picking
the
up
very
on.
breakup music.
I do not like. As
Lost me there.
speaking as someone who actually went through this,
All right,
women,
dude, listen.
stop
I'm
with the
pretty
signal
sure
shit. Just
girlfriend's breaking up
fucking
with
talk.
How?
Jesus,
I mean, he's got a point. Like
you have a mouth.
You know,
Use it.
Whatever.
Like,
I mean, you know, leading on is very much a thing. Where
no, it's not so
people
much
go,
leading
"Oh,
on. It's more so that instead of just coming out right and saying what they mean, they instead send signals. Because remember, I went through that shit with Vanessa as well, so I know what this guy's talking about. Like, it's just that.
You will put up with our aesthetic playlists and you will like it.
No, I won't.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Okay. There's one thing I struggle with is reading reading social cues, and stuff like this doesn't help.
Okay.
Imagine if I did that.
Let me just recap real quick something.
Imagine if I did that to you guys. You think
No, hold on, let me
Swag.
finish.
Avalanche,
Sure.
ice
No, I
cream,
get you, dudes. I get you.
flavored
The point is, we've got some text from Mikey. If you don't remember who Mikey is, he's the African kid from Before the Storm that Steph was playing D&D with.
So I'm guessing in this case, since you chose to spare Arcadia Bay, he's still alive.
Yes. But if you don't choose to, but if you choose to sacrifice Arcadia Bay, if I remember correctly, he's not here. Which, yeah, like, you know what? Even if I do, even if I did hypothetically prefer the sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending for Life is Strange 1, by choosing that for this DLC, I cut off one of the big things of this DLC. So that's kind of, I don't know. I feel like we could have. I feel like okay. Keep in mind, I'm maybe imagining right now. Who knows? Maybe Mikey's one of the few survivors, and he's still here. If I pick the other option, maybe I haven't actually experimented enough to check. And to be honest, I don't particularly care. So
Maybe you're missing something. But earlier you were complaining about choices not mattering.
well, yes, Dibs, but at the same time, here's the thing. It's not as simple as one thing or the other. You also have to execute that well.
Yeah, like, I mean, you could have something where your choices matter, but if all the choices suck, what fun is that?
This is still.
And
Well-
yes, that's one aspect though. That's not the full picture. Speaking of that original ending though, I remember how we talked about it that most players at the time chose the sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending because a lot of people identified with Chloe back then, or pretty much did that thing that, oh, this is literally me. Now, given that a lot of fans these days have reflected back on Life is Strange 1 and there is a lot of self-cringe at that, I wonder how many of them regret saying that they see themselves in Chloe.
Steph, welcome to your first shift. Sorry I can't be there. Here are the basics. Introduce yourself, blah, 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 blah. So basically, our boss gave us a basic instruction. This is our first day right now.
So, was the radio thing always a thing, or was this Steph's idea?
No, it was Gabe who got her this job. As we're going to see later. Well, Dibs, how about this? Let me put it this way. Allow me to refer back to one of your moments from our Last of Us 2 playthrough, where you said, and I quote, "Okay, when I said I wanted Joel to have some repercussions for his actions, I didn't mean get bludgeoned with a fucking golf club." Well, now I can say the same thing to you that you said, Dibs. Like, well, you asked for Joel to get consequences. There you go. See, it's not as simple, you know.
Well, to be fair, I did say it was if I was missing something.
But yeah, going back to what I was saying.
There you are.
Anyway, going back to what I was saying, I wonder if the people who, you know, went with the Chloe ending kind of regret that. Again, like, most retrospectives I've seen from fans of the original Life is Strange go, you know, it was good for us at the time, but in hindsight, man, a lot of these things don't look so good.
Besides, unlike in Last of Us 2, you can actually choose you could choose which Arcadia Bay thing you want or not.
Okay. To basically continue from my earlier point, this is interesting because Deck9 kind of handled the deluxe pack of Before the Storm similarly to this. Because right now, as of okay, I don't know how it was back when it first released. Probably it was different than the first release. Right now, both on Steam and on PlayStation Store, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing on Xbox too. Not on Switch because remember the Switch version is just part of the Arcadia Bay collection, which already has all the DLC included, so that's different.
So basically, just get that to save money. But,
True, but like I'm talking about the original releases though, before 2022, because the collection only came out in 2022. So
proceed.
back in, if you go, because the original version of Before the Storm and Life is Strange 1 are still up and there for purchase, you know, so there's still options you can take in terms of playing those games, especially like I said, I personally think the remasters are not the best versions of those games to begin with, so definitely you should consider that if you ask me. And Mikey gave us a package.
Does the collection use the remasters in that regard?
Well, yeah,
Well,
it's called the Remastered Collection.
Okay. Let me specify. Does it have fixed versions of the remasters, without the problems that the remasters initially had?
Well, hold on.
Old GM stuff. Holy shit.
So there you go, all of Steph's GM stuff from Before the Storm. There you go. So if you're a Before the Storm fan, here's your fan service.
Mikey really went for the nostalgia. Guess I should look through everything.
Nostalgia is one hell of a drug.
I get
All
this
right.
to Mikey before I left for Seattle. Wonder if I'd even understand half of it now.
Oh, so you're not. So basically, you're a phony GM now, Steph? Please.
Mikey still got it. Elamon, though, has seen better
That's just the
days.
imposter syndrome talking.
I guess. Campaign notebook.
Oh
Ah,
my
yes,
God.
the notebook.
This takes me back.
Isn't that a movie?
Yes, a shitty one. Anyway, Elamon, Wizard of the Third
Heard of
Circle,
that movie.
Advisor. Like every single Nicholas Sparks story is the exact same. Like it's like every soap opera cliche you can imagine comes into one of his movies. Like it's just like. But
I
anyway,
never got around to seeing the Notebook. What exactly is it about?
I've never even seen it.
star-crossed lovers who meet, and there's some tragedy that they have to overcome in order to be together, and blah blah blah, and then it ends with a big romantic kiss scene in the middle of a heavy rain.
So from what I can tell, all
Tio's his favorite.
also from what I can tell, all the posters of the movies all look the same.
Yeah, basically.
So, how's a Notebook involved?
Anyway, to answer Jova's question, it's a long story, Jova. Like,
Fair enough.
you
Well,
can look it up on a synopsis online. The point is, to answer Jova's question, originally what happened was they released the remastered collection, and on PSN and Xbox, the PSN and Xbox versions are digital only, if I remember correctly. I don't think there's physical editions of those yet. But no, the remasters were released on a poor state, like I've demonstrated in our playthroughs. They've been patched up since, but I still don't care for how they changed the visuals to Life is Strange 1, to be honest. I think the painterly aesthetic of the original game was basically ruined. And like the remaster tried way too hard to update the look. Like that's me.
It was one of those cases where trying to make it look better arguably made it look worse.
The problem is that they didn't respect the original art direction. They completely, like, Max's hair in the original is made to look like it's been painted on her, whereas in the remaster they replaced it with a whole new, more realistic texture, and it doesn't look nowhere near as appealing. But anyway, as for the deluxe pack of the original Before the Storm release, here's the fun thing. I don't know how it was back when it first released in 2017, but nowadays, if you go on consoles, specifically PSN and Xbox Store and Steam, you can buy regular Before the Storm, as in the main campaign, all 3 episodes. Also, you can, however, you cannot buy the deluxe pack on its own for some reason. Instead, Jova, if you want the 4th bonus farewell episode, you have to buy the $24 deluxe edition.
Why?
I do not know. That being said, Jova, if you're on Steam, you're in luck. Because on Steam, you can get the deluxe pack for $10. Here's the thing. You don't get it on Steam itself. You have to go to the Square Enix store and buy a code from there.
I hate when companies do that because that usually makes, either refunding or trying to deal with stuff monetarily a pain.
I know all of this because I wanted to have the games on my Steam account before Square Enix potentially removes them because they consider so that the remastered versions will be the only ones available. When looking up the deluxe pack, I found out someone who told me actually you can go on the Square Enix store and just buy it there. Okay, fine.
Also, pray that they don't make it so that your copies will get retroactively digitally taken off, like with the World of Warcraft 3 Reforged incident.
I'm not aware of that, so I can speak for that.
Basically, for those who... okay, I'll just give you the Clip Notes version. World of Warcraft 3, beloved game. World of Warcraft 3 Reforged. Absolutely terrible dog shit remake that ruined everything. And, just for extra measure, the original version of Warcraft 3 was patched out for people who had it on their PCs.
But then I got into UC.
So even if you wanted to go back to the original, screw you!
But I'm so scared of what will happen if I go to school without Tara. She's my rock.
Here at Blizzard, we make only the best decisions.
Yeah.
They just, I'm waiting to see if how much influence Microsoft are going to have on that.
Yeah,
I am
the same problem I have with how... Hold on. So basically, the girl is asking, what do you think? And how do I tell this girl's future? So she decides to pull off one of her die. So, alright.
Luck of a die.
So, let's see.
What am I going to tell this girl?
You're going to die. That's what it means.
So, what's my prediction?
Moral enemies or college dropout? College dropout.
Okay. I think I've got something for you. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. The good news is that you and Tara will definitely remain best friends. The bad news is that it's her fault you end up dropping out of college.
Really? How?
Deprogramming.
Yeah, I would have gone with called deprogramming too.
Because that's funnier.
Exactly. That's why it's so surprising when she loads up on gear and heads east. You can't bear the thought of your friend out there.
Steph, not for nothing, but don't you think you're being a bit irresponsible saying this stuff to a teenage girl like this?
Like, I have to wonder, how seriously are they all taking this?
I mean,
You have 3 years of community college waiting
it doesn't. Okay, I'm not saying. I mean, I'm not exactly getting too much of an irony vibe from this. Not particularly.
It was rough, but I think it'll help prepare me for the bumpy roads ahead. Thanks.
See, the way they portray this scene, it seems like the girl took her advice to heart, and I'm not entirely certain that was the best one.
Like, maybe it's supposed to be like sort of a mini therapy session where like she's speaking hypothetically to help the girl, prepare for the worst but hope for the best. Yeah, I don't know.
But I wanted to indirectly turn her into a cult deprogrammer.
All right, so Mikey asked if we wanted to play D&D via stream, and I decided to go yes, so we can have Mikey once again play by the same actor that played him in Before the Storm, make a cameo.
Hey, virtual.
That's what I'm gonna do. If I end up streaming this game to Pedro, if we're bored one day, that's what I'll do. I'll go the cult deprogrammer route.
I don't know. There's like if you're gonna stream a game for me, pick something that we haven't played before, because I've
been streaming Hitman for.
Yeah. But stream that instead.
I know this is like low-hanging fruit, but when you're in that perspective of looking over the tech, it's giving FNAF a little bit.
Oh my god.
So there you go. Gabe gave her the job. Well, he put in a word for her, basically.
Why did I let you
Do we get to see? Maybe talk?
Alright, I do like this bit here.
Yeah, as I say, the mic is still on.
The mic is still on, Steph.
See?
That's Steph, ladies and gentlemen. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And then all the complaints start flooding in over the swearing.
Well, avoid situations like these with puttoworkcolorado.com. Elevate your job prospects today.
Nice try. Nice try, I guess.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean my mic is still on?
Okay, that was
yeah,
funny.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I was going to say your mic's still on, but the game beat me to it.
Oh yeah, and this is actually there you go. Love is blind, but you are beautiful. Basically, this is the celebrating Pride Week on Haven. So obviously, we're going to have a lot of Pride stuff on the store.
Are we gonna have someone calling it as a massive bigot?
No, I don't. No, don't worry.
Remember,
to be fair,
trying to avoid everything Life is Strange 2 did.
To be fair, Deck unlike Don't Nod, Deck 9 actually handles the LGBT stuff fine. Like even before the storm, Shiroi didn't particularly mind the Rachel and Chloe ship. So to be fair, Deck 9 is much better at this than Don't Nod are, definitely. So, although I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. There's Tell Me Why. Don't worry, I've played Tell Me Why. It's a really good game, but I'm talking about Raul and Michelle. You know who I'm talking about.
What's it called?
Wow, yes, they can render that sweat well, I see.
I can definitely say that I'm definitely looking forward to the new game that recently got announced by Raul and Michelle, because, hey, worst case scenario, it's going to be yet another thing for us to tear apart on this. So,
oh boy.
I'm gonna go in with super. I mean, it's supposedly it's from Raul and Michelle as well again. So I'm gonna go in with the lowest of low expectations. I don't think it's going to be as bad as Life is Strange 2, of course, because they probably got the hint last time. But it's probably going to be about as bad as Life is Strange 1, probably, because I don't have faith in those guys at all. Sorry.
You're live.
I would hope that they've gotten them, because like I mentioned, Life is Strange 2 pretty much had one of the worst outcomes you can have, to the point where even your own fan base, your incredibly devoted fan base, mind you, finds you a laughing stock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, it took just one game, because remember, they didn't actually work on Before the Storm, so they were like on top of their own proverbial world.
I think it also has to do with the fact that Don't Nod wanted to move on from Life is Strange, probably.
What does that mean?
I do wonder, because,
Handled it better?
well, okay, granted, at this point it's kind of the theme of the series, but yeah, literally, the only relation Life is Strange 2 shares with, Life is Strange 1 is kid has superpowers and an otherwise realistic world, and, oh yeah, we mentioned some stuff from Arcadia Bay, and David's there.
That's the thing, like, now it's my turn to fill out a convinced theory, Shiroi. I'm still convinced that Life is Strange 2 was not originally meant to be a Life is Strange game, and the reason they tagged in psychic powers into the story was because they knew that Square Enix would not fund them if they didn't have the Life is Strange brand name on it, because so little.
Why did you think that?
Because there's little to no commitment, Shiroi, to what made fans like the first game whatsoever.
I will say, I think that the powers were always going to be a thing, but I definitely agree that it was probably not going to be called Life is Strange 2.
Yeah, because think about this, Shiroi. Aside from two occasional, very minor references to the first game with the Arcadia Bay thing and David showing up in the final episode, and of course Daniel's psychic powers that are not really necessary to the plot. You could very easily write them off the story, and very little would change, if at all. Like, there's no commitment to what people liked about the first game. I mean, we didn't like it, but plenty of people did back in the day, right? So, and there's no commitment to the original fan base at all. Like, the game is, even like Jova said in that playthrough, when we did that for the final part, the style of writing is such a drastic departure from what the first game was. Like, why is this even a Life is Strange game? Like, it's barely one.
I mean, as easy a comparison is to make, it's kind of like comparing Last of Us 2 to Last of Us 1.
I mean, I don't like Before the Storm, but at the very least, Before the Storm feels like a Life is Strange game. And this game also has issues, like I've said, but at least it feels like a Life is Strange game. Life is Strange 2 doesn't even feel like a Life is Strange game to me, honestly.
It really... I mean, okay, and I guess one could argue it has similar gameplay. However, it is some of the most bog standard gameplay that, of course, it feels similar. You walk around, choose different choices and options. The one main gameplay difference is like what powers you have, but
it's like me and Jova. Sorry, it's like me and Jova mentioned before, right? Both this game and Life is Strange 2 are two opposite extremes. Life is Strange 2 strays so far from what made people care about the franchise to begin with, and this game is the opposite extreme. This game tries way too hard to stay super close to the Life is Strange 1 formula, to the point where it has a couple identity issues of its own. What we need is a middle ground between these two extremes. That's what we need.
And like I said, that's not even to say that the stuff this game does is bad. I literally ended my final thought saying it's good, but it is just enough to be good, and I wish that there were a lot more to it. I do feel like part of that issue does tie to how it does crib a lot of its ideas from Life is Strange 1, which, to be fair, in this case, I could see it as them, redoing Life is Strange 1, but actually, making it not suck. Which
look at
in and of itself.
Look at Ni no Kuni 2, for example, which is a sequel to Ni no Kuni 1, but it goes the Final Fantasy style of sequel, right? Where technically, like, it takes place in the same multiverse, of course, because we even have the references in the Conductor DLC, right? But you'll notice that despite having action combat and a story that is more fairy tale-esque in nature, and definitely has more political aspects to it compared to Ni no Kuni 1, it still has the same art style. Joe Hisaishi produces another score that is completely recognizable as a Ni no Kuni score. The style of writing is still on the same style, the typical emotional charged storytelling that Hino is known for. It still feels like a Ni no Kuni game. It's different, but also feels very familiar. If you can do these things well, like the same thing with Layton's Mystery Journey, I will argue, which is, of course, has a new cast, a more Ace Attorney-esque structure with the cases thing, right? And it's much more slice of life-y in comparison to the Herschel Saga, right? But it still has all the elements that make Layton recognizable as a Layton game. You can do these things well. The problem is, I feel like we need the Life is Strange game that manages to hit that perfect balance as well, I feel. So, alright, tune in for the next part, everybody, where we continue to hopefully survive the heat, because now it's summertime at this point in the story. See ya.
See ya.